So we're tapping in. It's not only that we're dealing with this Pascalian issue, it's also a problem of evil that we've been
Yeah.
also touching on, I would say. And that, what you heard my view is, I heard this and I thought in my mind, it was just a little chink in the armor. It wasn't like this is what made me not a Christian. It was something that I had to, big pill that you have to swallow. And that was, do I love people more than God? Because it's clear, if God is doing all this stuff, there's some vessels for glory and some vessels for, destruction. And that's all I'm got. So, who are you, oh man, to say to the maker, why have you made me thus? It's so clear that the language is saying this. So I had this problem as well, trying to figure out what's the point? Is all this just almost meaningless on this level, but to God, something else is going on. And all this experience to us is just really nothing.
Yeah.
That was hard for me to grapple with, and within Christianity. And by the way, everything you said was while you were a Christian. Yeah. Not saying we can go back to the memory of it and argue the point and still use it today. It's just, I have come out of that box, and I suspect you have too now. And we're making totally different arguments from historical linguistics and discrepancies and other things that would make us say, this is a man-made document. Christians go, of course, men wrote it, but God's behind this. We're saying it doesn't look like God's behind this.
Yeah. And I should be clear. One of the answers that I love getting now is you don't understand the argument, right? You don't understand, the moral argument, whatever it is. And I'm like, really? Because 7 months ago, when I would present the moral argument, I've had literally the same people who used to share my stuff and be like, this guy's a great apologist. He's, I had people saying they love the way that I talk about it, and I finally get it. And I've, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, literally 6 months ago, you said you knew that I understood it and you shared that I understood it. Now, suddenly I don't miraculously, I miraculously completely forgot and don't think about things anymore or all that kind of stuff. And it's, I can hear some of the response videos coming and be like, oh, well, he doesn't understand the Bible. And I'm like, okay, of
course,
did I not understand it this entire time? Now, I will say it's not an argument from authority. I've met lots of people who are they were ex-Christians. I don't think they can accurately describe Christianity to save their life, right? That just because you used to be X doesn't mean that you understand X well or ever understood it well or are describing it well. I'm not trying to say because I used to do this, therefore you should believe that I'm perfectly accurate, representing it. But nothing has changed in how I understand it. And so, for the people who are like, oh, before they always thought that I understood it. Or people are gonna be like, oh, well, you don't understand Calvinism. I'm like, the ordaining committees in the PCA, and when I had to teach the Westminster Confessions and teach series on Calvinism and go through it, Reformed theology, they all thought that I understood it fine. So, the people who asked me to debate it and, who presented my debates as one of the more robust Calvinists out there, they had no problem, saying that I understood it. So, maybe I misunderstood it, but then a lot of people who claim it misunderstand it also. So
I got one more question before we get to any super chats here. I took this picture and made that the thumbnail, right? Yeah. Seems like there's a apologetic empire here. How have you had any run-ins or had any discussions with any of the people you see on the image since leaving?
Not really since leaving. That was at an ETS conference a few years back, probably 3 or 4 years ago. So we all got together. We went to In and Out late one night after a bunch of days at a bunch of talks and everything like that. So haven't really talked with most of them after the fact. A few of them have checked in and said, "Hey, we love you. If you need anything, let us know." Mm-hmm. I got a couple of invites to be on a couple of different shows, but they've largely gone dark. But yeah, so I still love all those guys. They're great guys, and that actually almost everyone in that picture I think are brilliant. I think they're doing good thoughts. They're not that group is not like the Ken Hams of Christianity. So yeah.
I would argue maybe a couple of these guys can do some tweaking in what they say, but nonetheless,